G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in the colour green on the northeast corner of the map. Playing as the Delhi Sultanate, we've got him back. It's Corvinus 1. Look at that beautiful, absolutely beautiful monument in the middle. The Great Bombard, the Ottoman monument. Absolutely golden stuff right there. And on the other side of the map in the colour red, playing as the French. We've got, well, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but we're going to call him our French friend. And he's got the, of course, he's got the nice little fishing boat down here on the south side of, and the map that we are going to be on is Highview, a map that is famous for those, or I guess I should rather say infamous, for those long, drawn-out stalemate games. So hopefully we don't get one today. Now, if you are enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, I do encourage you to like the video, because it really helps out the video, helps out the channel. So let's talk a little bit about this matchup. It's a fun matchup, Delhi versus the French. I feel like the Delhi are at quite a natural advantage when it comes to this matchup, just simply because as the French, you want to go for that school of cavalry, you want to be pumping out those knights immediately, and as the Delhi Sultanate, well, you're absolutely fine with going for an early barracks, getting it down in the transition period, because your spears have the ability to draw those nice little walls in on the edges of the map. And take a look at this. Expect to see Corvinus, who, for anybody wondering, this is Salami that we're watching. He changed his name to Corvinus, so I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live with his new name. But I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how he goes about walling himself in here. Nice single wall across here, little one at the backside, and he is all walled in safely on this position. In the middle of the map, another easy one to wall in for the Delhi Sultanate, and then over towards that west side. Probably going to be a bit tougher to do it, but I reckon you could get a sneaky little wall down here, really be quite annoying, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Salami wall up this entire... Sorry, I keep calling him Salami. It's ingrained in the brain. I apologize. Corvinus 1. Now, there's been some big changes to the Delhi in the most recent patch. It might not seem like a big change, but it's absolutely massive, and that change was to the Dome of the Faith. I've always been a big fan of the Dome of the Faith landmark. There was a period of time where Dome of the Faith was the go-to landmark, but it fell out of favor when the Tower of Victory suddenly decided to rename itself from the Tower of Defeat. And the Tower of Victory was very strong in the Delhi meta for quite a while. But now we've gotten to a point where we can start testing out that Dome of the Faith, so I'm hoping that we see Corvinus 1 look to put that down somewhere around here. Indeed, we are going to be able to see it. So what changed? You might be wondering what the hell changed that made this landmark so much different or so much better, because to be honest, it is a buff. It is an unquestionable buff that happened to the Delhi Sultanate. So what happened is the way that it used to work. So your mosque, it's 130 gold for a scholar. Takes 30 seconds. So if I remember correctly, the way that it used to work is you paid 65 gold, but it took longer to train the scholar. And so in essence, you were paying half as much, but you were getting it twice as long, essentially. What they've done now is they've said, we're going to make it so that you are just training mosques at a normal rate, but it is cheaper. And I love that. I love that so much. That's such a great thing, because what it does is it allows you as a Delhi player to decide, okay, I'm going to go ham on scholars. You couldn't do that before. You were capped. You're like, okay, well, I've got my one scholar coming out every 45 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever it was that was coming out. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, you know, if you want to start thinking about teching up and really looking to get an advanced scholar number, you're going to be able to do that, and you get the full discount the whole time. It got to the point where we started seeing players that were going Dome of the Faith get scholars from the Dome of the Faith, but also getting scholars from the mosque, because it wasn't training fast enough. So this change, I think it's definitely going to provide a lot of flexibility for our Delhi Sultanate players. So we'll ride on board over on the French side and see exactly how our French friend is doing at the moment. It's going to be a single scout opening from him. Wheelbarrow on the way through as well. Age up about to come in a little bit after 4 minutes 10. On the other side of the map, Corvinus is going to be aging up around the same time as well. No villagers on gold. Interestingly, 58 gold in the bag rather than that 60. Well, actually, I take it back. I thought it was 65 he needed. He doesn't need 50. He needs 80. So still quite a bit of gold here. We take a look and see. So it reduces the cost of the scholar down from 130 down to 80 gold. So that's a pretty good size discount that you're getting there. So I'm still a massive fan of this. Also, one thing to note is that you can store up to 5 scholars inside these mosques now. So that is really nice. in each of these mosques back here. So that is also a nice change. And we do see him coming forward now, looking to get out this early spearman. And it looks like it's going to be a double town center play opening here from Corvinus. I would suspect we're probably going to see the same thing on the other side of the map. You guys know what it is when it comes to the French. 1 or 2 knights early on, a wheelbarrow or 2, and then everybody over to the stone, because it's time not to go to the Stone Age, but time to get to the second town center. But speaking of second town centers, it looks like Corvinus should be absolutely fine defending this. His scout spots it out, so he's going to be able to tank up any damage if required, but I suspect it won't be, considering that there are villagers here that have got 75 health and spearmen here that have got their hardened upgrade. And on top of that, even if you do manage to take a hit, well, you've got scholars, you've got early healers that are able to heal up your villagers back up to that full health. So I tell you what, if Corvinus somehow manages to lose a villager in this early game, it is going to be an absolute miracle. There's a part of me that thinks, is it even worth going into the knight as the French in this matchup? I think it's probably worth it, just because it really doesn't take that much to pull it out. And we see right now, Villager is going to be getting his little running boots on, or rather getting her running boots on. Villager does come back in. I'm sure it'll be coming back towards his safe position. It looks like it's a double attack, though. Second Spearman on the front side should be able to defend back that Royal Knight, and we can see that that Villager does cop a little bit of damage here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull those back, but it looks like that second Villager comes out, and Corvinus 1 making a massive mistake. Oh, that is what we learn, you know, in Age of Empires 2. I remember watching a video. It's like, and you're going to take the villager that lured the boar, and you're going to put it on a farm underneath the town center. The idea is that that villager's got low health, and we want to make sure it's safe from enemy units. That's the exact same concept here. You don't want to send that villager back out to where it came from, because it's going to be exposed. It's going to be on a slightly lower health as a result. Now we can see triple knights now starting to come out from our French player. Quite a lot of aggression coming in. Aggression on 3 parts here. He's got to be careful not to lose the knight, though. Down to 14 health. Looks like still only that single villager's gone down for the moment. Meanwhile, up towards that top side, knights will look to retreat. Or will they, as the knights begin to come back through? He's looking for a surround here, trying to find that scout. Will indeed find the scout. Leaves a couple of the sheep here as well if he wants to come back and pick that up later. Unfortunately, misses the royal. Oh, knight doesn't miss it. Picks it up. 2 knights remain for our French friend. All right, let's check in on that south side. There's the second TC coming up. No real surprises there. 2 TC versus the 2 TCs. Where is Corvinus going to drop his down? Of course, on the double hunt over here. We got 2 double hunts in this game, and Corvinus is going to be looking for that early survival techniques here. So picking up the wheelbarrow as well, get himself a little bit of extra movement speed. This is a bit of a delayed wheelbarrow, isn't it? Or am I just going crazy right now? Maybe he didn't go for the early mill. I didn't see exactly what he was up to, what he was going for, but it kind of looks like he didn't bother with that early mill, and as a result, now only getting the wheelbarrow through. So villagers a little bit slower than what they usually would be. Second TC now coming up for our French player. All right, and we're back. Apologies about that. I just had a little bit of a break, but we are back now, and we see immediately a little bit of a mistake from our French friend. This is quite common that will happen. I noticed that this happened specifically when I was playing as the Mongols. One of the issues that I had was I would send my villagers to go build a gur on a whole bunch of berries, and then they just start chopping wood instead of going onto the berries. So you've got to be really careful making sure that you shift click them. At this point, actually, I'm not sure if this was intentional or not. I can't help but feel he's got 23 vills on wood. That seems like a lot, but it might actually be intentional. Just judging by the fact that he's actually keeping them there. Now it looks like he pulls them off, so maybe throwing down the infrastructure he was looking to do. Perhaps that's the case. Nice little base that he's got here. Third lumber camp already coming out. You can see that I remember in the patch notes they mentioned the fact that AIs occasionally put down a few too many lumber camps. This is not the case. You know, ideally you want to have your lumber camps just dotted across where the forest once was. But Blacksmith now going to be coming down and going into double stable here, as well as the double archery range. If there is a way to play French, it is this way. I love this way of playing French. The 2 TC followed up with just a whole bunch of feudal pressure. Absolutely love it. Let's check in over on the other side of the map, though, and have a look at how Corvinus is doing. So, reminding me of that... I can't remember who it was. Was it Louis MT? And I'm confident that we saw it on this map, High View, where he did 2 TC into just a whole bunch of scholars from the Dome of the Faith, and just played it standard, but went Imperial, got like all of his upgrades, and just won the game. I think it was Louis. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. All I can remember is the strategy. And I feel like we are seeing that right now, especially once these sacred sites get taken. A little bit late on the sacred site, if I remember correctly. Did he only just take that now? I'd have to double check and see, but it felt like that might have been a little bit late here. And interesting to see how the Delhi is now played. It's kind of strange to me how Delhi is becoming more of a normal civ, right? Like, if we think back to Delhi Sultanate, say 6 months ago, 12 months ago, it's always been the same. It's a very linear civilization. There's only really one way to play it. I play Feudal, I capture the sacred sites, I control my food, I get to the castle age, and I overwhelm my enemy after I picked up relics, and whether that be through, say, going for keeps, or whether that be for knights, or men-at-arms, or crossbows, or whatever it is that you want to do. That's essentially been the Delhi story. But now we start to see the Delhi story shifting. The Delhi story is shifting into more of this, I'm a normal civilization, I can play 2 TCs, except I just take an early sacred site, get that nice little bit of passive gold coming in to help me out, and at the same time I build up my scholars, I'm getting my free upgrades, I'm not dying to anything, but at the same time I'm not falling behind. And even though technically he is falling behind, 8 villages compared to the French player he's behind at the moment. He's not really behind because he does have scholars that are working for him. He's also got that sacred site that's trickling gold. So there are a number of factors here that need to be considered, but now we do start to see a little bit of a push-up coming. Corvinus not aware of it, not until right now when he starts getting attacked. He's got a couple of options as to how he looks to defend this, whether he goes into horsemen, but the most likely option is just to go into an archer mass himself. Obviously, doesn't have access to that Tower of Victory here, did go for the Dome of the Faith instead, and that will mean that his archers are not going to be advantageous over the enemies, or rather better than the enemies is probably the best way to say it. And I tell you what, I do like this style of Delhi Sultanate. It's a lot less all in. Before, it very much felt all in. You know, like if I don't get my 3 sacred sites, if I don't kill you within the first 20 minutes of the game, then it's just pretty much over. Not 20, but 25 minutes of the game. It's pretty much over. But it's not the case anymore. You can just look to try and scale this one out. And that's what he's going to do here. Losing out a couple of units here. French player beginning to push in towards the base. And I tell you what, it just feels so good knowing that at any point I can zoom in right here, and we can see that a little bit of a wild party happening on the last deer carcass that remains. He's got plenty more deer out over onto this west side, and we'll begin to move out there. We'll right on board with Corvinus though, and see how he looks to play this one. He's got a boar just outside the walls, obviously playing the Delhi Sultanate. He's not going to be able to access it. Sacred site safely behind his own lines as well. That's not going to be denied away from by his enemy. And now starting to think about adding in extra walls just to make sure no chop throughs happen. You can see I don't know whether it was the chop through or what has happened, but there are knights that are looming up towards this top side, looking for a way through. Unfortunately, the archer's going outside the walls here. A little bit of an opening. He's not paying attention at the same time, getting pushed towards the front. Knight going to be able to make its way onto that bottom side. Villagers, so many of them here, 12. He's got to run for his life. He's got to get behind these walls immediately. He's going to get mauled otherwise. And now we start to see those Ghazi Raiders coming through, looking to clean this up. I think we called them horsemen a little bit earlier. Again, I'd forgotten. I tell you what, the more I'm watching the Delhi Sultanate, the more I'm starting to feel inspired to play them. You know, I've only ever played them once previously, and it was against Nili at N4C for a show match that we did. He was playing the Holy Roman Empire, I was playing the Delhi Sultanate. They didn't have the Ghazi Raider back then, but I tell you what, they look damn well good now. And look at the Ghazis just cleaning it up. Corvinus having an absolute field day out here with these numbers. Keep in mind, they do get that bonus damage against enemy knights. It's not a huge amount, but it is enough just to give them a little bit of an oomph. But now cleaning up this front. Keep in mind, this whole time, he's still pumping out scholars, and that's what's key to remember. He's still got those scholars coming in. They might be 80 gold, and you might be thinking, well, he could have gone Castle Age by now. Yeah, sure. But what's better is having those extra scholars in the back pocket, because it means when you do get Castle Age, those upgrades are going to be coming in a lot quicker than what they otherwise would. Now the Ghazi Raid is going to be able to clean up this French force on the front. Yet to see any spearmen breaking out towards this middle of the map. Going for a third stable now. Ghazi Raiders looking to try and defend against these knights. Having a bit of a tough time. And I feel like I'm really zoomed out right now. I don't know, is it just me? I feel like I'm a little bit zoomed out here. But we now start to see the Royal Knight coming through onto the wood line. He's looking for a bit of a surround. We'll be able to find it here. If he micros well, he should be able to keep all the villagers alive. Needs to pull this one back. Isn't going to be doing it, so we'll lose one villager. And instead decides, you know what, we're just not going to risk it anymore to get the biscuit. He trades out the one villager for the one Royal Knight. But cops a little bit of damage there on the spear. But now just going to migrate the villagers over onto another wood line. Definitely the right call. He's got so much safe wood back here. So I think it's just imperative that he looks to get back here and take advantage of that. Make sure he gets a nice little secure wall up here. I suspect there's probably a chop through here. There's almost certainly a chop through on a position like this. It can be hard to tell sometimes, but it looks, if it looks like a chop through, there's a good chance it's a chop through. You know what? I missed a couple things there. If it looks like a chop through, it smells like a chop through. If it walks like a chop through, it's probably chopped through. Now we start to see Corvinus making a play for the center of the map. Now, this is one of those things that we talked about previously with the Delhi. I feel like this change has really brought this new style of the Delhi Sultanate online. It says you can play 2 TC, you can think about your economy, and you can look to scale into the late game with your scholar mass. We will allow you to do that, but you've got to be so careful. You've got to be so careful because the enemy's got knights out on the map. And now that sacred site looking to be contested a little bit. We'll make sure that we get the rotation in for you guys so that all of these units aren't being, or aren't blocked by that sacred site banner. It's so nice to be able to rotate, to zoom, to be able to utilize the camera in ways that I wasn't able to for months. But now the scholars healing up the Ghazi Raiders on the front, getting completely mauled. A distinct lack of spears out for both of these players. Corvinus now just running a couple of spears up the rear, but look at the knight numbers coming out now from our French player. Huge numbers here, double-digit numbers, and scholars might get caught with their pants down. Even though they're not really wearing pants, they'll get caught with their dresses down, their robes down. I mean, are they really robes, and are they ever really not down? I feel like if ever you're speaking to a scholar, there's a good chance his robes are going to be down anyway. But looks like a lot manages to keep most of them alive. They get through on very low health. Oh, but the mosque was full. He loses 3 of them as a result. Ghazi Raiders coming to the front here. I think it's imperative if you're going to be playing the Delhi Sultanate, you've got to be going into that 1-1-1 combination. You can't just be running at the 1-2. The 1-2, you know, the Ghazi Raider archer, even though he seems to be breaking pretty even at the moment, manages to keep his head above water for the moment. Villager counts pretty even, 82-71, so still within 10. And now we've got that age up coming through, so Corvinus is going to be looking for a House of Learning. Another big change that came through recently was the House of Learning. So the techs have received a little bit of a redo, hearty rations in particular. You've got to change. So for anybody who is unfamiliar with the techs, hearty rations is a technology that is like wheelbarrow. It doesn't give you the movement speed, but it gives you the extra carry capacity. It used to only provide 5 carry capacity, but now it provides 10. You might not think that that's a lot, but when you consider here that this villager is going up to 15, let's just watch right now, okay? 13, 14, 15, here she goes. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds to do that drop off right there. And now all of a sudden, instead of carrying 15 wood, she's carrying 25 wood. So she becomes a lot more efficient as a wood gatherer. And that's really, really important once you start reaching this mid-game where you start to rely on wood a huge amount for your production buildings and, of course, all your archers. But we do now switch it over to the income so you guys can get a bit of an idea on where these guys are at. And let's take a look and see what upgrades we've got on the way through. So first 3 upgrades he's going for. Honed Blades, increasing the damage of men-at-arms and lances by +3. Reinforced Foundation, which increases villagers and infantry can garrison inside houses for protection. And houses gain garrison arrows and 50% health. And, of course, Hearty Rations, the brand new +10 carry capacity for the Delhi Sultanate. So they're going to be able to carry 25 resources on the wood line. If you're out gathering boar, it's up to, what, 40, I think it is? Well, I mean, you're probably not going to be able to do it with the boar, seeing as you're the Delhi Sultanate. But if you're doing the deer, there's a base of 25, 30 with the wheelbarrow, and 40 with Hearty Rations. So pretty decent. There's lots of other aspects that it can affect, and we can see right there, it looks like the villager will go down despite it being behind the wall. Royal Institute now being completed for our French friend over on the west side of the map. He's got a couple of options here that he can look for. You can go into the Arbaletier route. You can go into the cavalry route. And I think against the Delhi Sultanate, you'd be probably a little bit scared to go into the cavalry route. But we do start to see veterancy upgrades coming through. Veteran archers, veteran royal knights. A whole lot of gold in the bag for him. Needs to start thinking about those +2 ranged armor, ranged attack upgrades as well. Starting to secure gold in the north. Large gold up here. There's another gold vein down to the south, which will be a pretty big point of contention, I suspect. Rewall coming in here as well for Corvinus now. And the farming economy starting to take off. You can see that he's picking up all of the upgrades at the moment. All of the tier 2s are coming through. And look how quick they're coming in as well. Really, really early. Royal Bloodlines now coming through for our French player on the other side of the map. Now, my question is, what kind of composition does does Corvinus look to go into here? Mainly because French Royal Knights are notoriously difficult to deal with. Throw in the fact that they've got that extra health. You're talking about 320 health, I think it works out to be. 320 health in the Castle Age, which is a massive amount. I mean, you're not just going to be throwing spears around. Like, I'm starting to think maybe you even think about going into elephants as an option. Could be the way that it goes. But now, beginning to push out men-at-arms on the front line, working together with those lancers. Keep in mind, they've got that extra +3 damage, which is going to be helping them out. And they just completely eat alive this front line. There's not enough knights here to help defend against these incoming units. And now we see those knights making their way around, looking to loop in onto the backside. The crossbow is going to begin to open them up. And now at the same time, more knights going to be coming through. Still yet to receive that extra health. They've got another 9 seconds, and this could be the battle that decides it. You've got to be ultra careful about taking this fight. You didn't need to take it right now, but decided to nonetheless. And now we can see that that upgrade will come through up to 310 health, an extra 80 health on top of this. But unfortunately, Salami just overwhelming, or sorry, Corvinus overwhelming the French player at this point. Really just dominating the front. Keep in mind, this is the large, or rather a smaller gold vein here. Only got 900 left in it, so even if he manages to take him off it, it's not a huge loss for the moment. But we'll have to start thinking about maybe dropping down a keep here if he wants to hold this. He's got a great spot for it back here, so hopefully we see all the villagers retreat back, throw a keep down. He's got 850 stone in the bank, so 50 stone short of throwing down that keep, but definitely going to need a little bit of assistance right now. He's got enough for it. Does he look? And there it is. Comes down. Right at the front of the base. There's a lot of men-at-arms. There's a lot of knights. It looks like it might be a doubtful that this one's coming up. Let's watch to see how many vills get pulled to it. We've seen plenty of villagers go down already. 22 villagers. And the numbers continue to rise. 25 villagers now. Just looking to take out all of the villagers here. He's just focusing on the keep. He knows he needs to get it up, but at the same time, he's looking to sacrifice villagers. I think it's actually the correct play to sack vills here to get this keep up, because without this keep, you're not able to hold this. There's just way too many units here. Corvinus 1 overwhelming his opponent, but it looks like all of the knights, all the lancers do get cleaned up. The men-at-arms trying to make their way through, and now the keep comes online. Everybody jumps inside, and he's going to be able to take out the majority of those ranged units. We'll force him back, but now he should be able to head out to other areas of the map. Look to try and put on some pressure. Behind this, Corvinus continuing to mass up. No sign of an elephant just yet. Doesn't seem like an elephant enjoyer at the moment, Corvinus 1. And now that second sacred site is taken. This changes the Delhi Sultanate. Really, the way that they have changed is absolutely... It's insane to me to watch this. And look, you can see right here, the 25 wood coming through on each of these villages. It allows you to just have a bit of extra flexibility in your economy. It means that if you do forget putting down these lumber camps, you're not as punished as a player who wouldn't have hardy rations. On top of that, it also excels just every aspect of the economy. I'd be curious to know what the numbers are for hardy rations, like players or civilizations with it versus without. What's the difference in economy? Because I suspect it's probably pretty big. Especially for the farms that are further away, because it means that you're traveling less, right? Like those second ring farms are really going to be a huge difference. All right, well, let's check back in over on the other side of the map. Corvinus up on the economy front. Took out 39 workers so far this game, but the keep did eventually get up. Just a little bit of difference in that cost of the keep meant that the keep was delayed, because instead of being able to put it down at 850 stone when he stopped, he sat on 850 stone for quite a while, he wasn't able to put it down. He had to wait until he hit 900 plus stone. Nice little farm economy starting to come through. Let's get one last look at that Dome of the Faith as the relics start coming through. Beautifully positioned here at the front of the base. It's almost inviting his enemy. Siege me down. Siege me, for I care not. And now on the other side, Corvinus closing in on that 200 population. And one of the things to remember is, back in the good old days, Delhi Sultanate, we used to laugh about the prospect of Imperial. It's like, oh, the Delhi Sultanate, he's going Imperial. What's he going to do? He's going to make veteran spearmen. That's what he's going to do in the Imperial age. But it's not that way anymore. the speed at which he's literally going Imperial right now. Hussar Academy, where are you? There you are. He is going Imperial immediately. Look at this, 32 villages. And look how fast these techs are coming through. I'm going for tier 3 eco techs in 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Let's have a look. 15 minutes? There's no, because it's not within the, here. 3 minutes and 16. What did I say? 2 minutes and 47 seconds? I'm pretty close. But you can see the difference, right? 15 minutes versus 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Look at all the upgrades coming through right now. Click every single building and just get an upgrade. That's what Corvinus is saying to himself. And he's quite literally queued up 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. Keep in mind the Hussar Academy now acts as a university as well. So you can queue these bad boys up. They only take 3 minutes to upgrade. Do you remember how long it took to research these technologies at the Royal Institute? It took 90 seconds for a French player who had to pay the full price. I mean, sure, it's a discount of 30%, but it's the full price for the French player. Compare that to an enemy who hasn't had to pay anything and gets them in double the time. I tell you what, I know what trade I would prefer. Stone walls looking to come up on the large gold vein that's remained uncontested until the 25th minute mark, which is quite late if I'm honest with you guys. But it looks like it should be okay here. There's a lot of vills that should be able to get up the stone walls. He's trying to get a couple of charges off. Villagers going to get targeted. Looks like a single opening here will get closed off. And he's committing the villagers, trying his best to bring it up. It looks like he will be fine here. There's still a couple that are exposed on the front. And I think instead of Salami, sorry for calling him Salami all the time, it's just, he'll always be Salami in my heart. Instead of Corvinus just sacking the villagers, he says, you know what, I'll just bring my army over, it'll be fine. And now, you made him mad. The elephants are on the prowl. They're on something. They're on the way, that's what they're, I knew they were on something. I just didn't know what they were on. But they're on the way, I can tell you now. Numbers looking pretty good here for Corvinus. 82 versus, or rather 85 versus 66 military. Large portion of that are going to be scholars though, keep that in mind. Doesn't have many of them here. Red Palace going to get thrown down in the front. Absolutely loving it. This is what you want to see. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. He needs to bring everybody in. I don't know why you guys are heading home. You guys all need to move forward right now to this gold vein. This is a win-it moment right here. You can't let this wall get up, though. If you let this wall get up, the flexibility of this Red Palace is really lost. That was a beautiful position. I don't know why he's brought all of the units back here. Yeah, he's up against a couple of elite units, but he's got his own royal bloodline, so it's not a huge deal here. What are you talking about? 35 damage up against, what, 26 damage? But then they've also got the charge, extra damage that comes through. That could be an option for him. But now those elephant numbers starting to rise. Where's that Red Palace going to go down? I can see he's still got it in queue. He's going to go on the topside gold, but he's already got control of the topside gold. Red Palace here means nothing to him. This is a massive mistake coming out right now from our French friend. Absolutely huge mistake. It would have been incredible if he was able to secure, even the Red Palace right here would have been clutch. Just to deny the gold away from Corvinus would have been massive. But now, that fight, he looks like he's going to begin charging in onto the back line. All the elite upgrades have come through from Corvinus. And you can see him just melting through. Look how fast he melts all of those knights. The French knights with their extra health. The age up comes through. Imperial age. The crossbowmen do so much damage. 33 damage against these knights. 10-shotting them. Well, probably not 10-shotting. Be closer to 11-shot. But he does manage to overwhelm the invaders for the moment. And forces them back. I tell you what, it just feels like such a waste of a Red Palace. A Red Palace right here just shuts this down completely. You're never able to take this gold vein ever again. And that's really important gold. But now a keep's going to be coming up. He's doing a really good job of controlling the gold. He knows he needs to control the gold. The problem is, it just seems like such a waste of an important landmark. Quite literally a landmark. But now, warriors moving towards the north. It's going to be a whole bunch of elephants. The war elephants are out. They've got their upgrades in as well. Tower elephants in the rear. And we see more units moving up here for our French player. 181 population against the 200 for Corvinus. The elephant army is here. He knows what he's doing in the Imperial age. He says, hey, we don't have any more time for infantry. We don't have any time for cavalry. The only time we've got is elephant time. Ladies and gentlemen, it is elephant time. Now, one of the things to note is elephants get absolutely destroyed by the Red Palace. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it would have been nice. It would have been nice. Wouldn't it be nice? crossbows now. On the retreat. You can see, I'll be honest, I still don't know how to deal with tower elephants. I remember reading a thread on Reddit, and it's like, oh, you gotta trap them with spears, and it's like, how do I trap 17 tower elephants? And then someone else was like, well, you don't let him get to 17 tower elephants. And it's like, well, how do I stop him from getting to 17 tower elephants? He's playing Delhi. He's going 2 TC. He's just playing defensive, and he got to Imperial Age, and he's got these new cheaper scholars now, and he collected all the relics. Actually, did he collect all the relics? He got 4 of the relics. That's not too bad. Now, I did see on the other side of the map, there were some traders out here somewhere. Where are you, traders? There you are. 60 gold. We can see. We can now see. Look at that. The technology. They said it wasn't there. Back in 2022, the technology was there. 2023, we lost it. Fortunately, we found it again in 2023. All right. Well, a little bit of a stall out. A little bit of a stalemate for the moment. Not really a stalemate. I mean, they're both setting up for the inevitable. So I guess I can just give you guys a little bit of an alien update. I know you guys have been asking for it. I did see plenty of comments asking for an alien video, so maybe that might be on the horizon. We'll have to wait and see. But I will say right now that there is an interesting development. Well, not development, but there's going to be an inquiry. I don't actually know what the technical term for it is, but there's going to be 3 witnesses that are going to be testifying in front of Congress. That'll be happening. Actually, it should be happening soon. I think it's on the 26th. Just search it up, UAP Congress. Give it a quick Google, check it out. Just keep an open mind. Just remember that. Okay, maybe we're not alone. I want to believe. Anyway, we move forward as the elephants do. Look at the size of that thing. So many elephants in right now. They are just steamrolling over the top of the French army. There's absolutely nothing here. He's close to maxed out, but I tell you what, you're going to need a lot more than 29 arbaletiers and 18 archers. Steamrolled over the top. The scholars are here to join the party. You don't need them anymore, right? You've got all the upgrades in the game. They came in for free. The Delhi Sultanate. Is this the new S tier civilization? I tell you what, the way that Corvinus has played it, he's got 46 villages. He's deleted everybody else. He said, you know what? We don't even need villages at this point. We've just got a critical mass of elephants. And that's all that she wrote. I mean, at this point, there's no coming back from it. There's just way too many elephants here. He can just go landmark hunting at this point. You got the scholars that can help out. And now he's starting to mix in scouts. He's like, you know what? We'll just keep everybody on. We'll keep everybody on. Wait, yeah, is it right? 133 versus 46 and 141 military pop? That is insane. How much do these things cost again? Where are you? Stables? Over here. 400 and 350. It seems like they cost a fair bit, right? Like, that's a fair chunk of change. I'm impressed that he just quite literally goes all in and is like, okay, and we're just going to make only... We're just going to go full critical mass, 151. We're going to pretend like he's made a wonder. And it's all but nothing right now. There's literally nothing right now that the French player can do. Even if he rebuilds, goes mass knights, you're up against war elephants that have got extra damage against cavalry. You can see 28 with plus 40 versus cavalry. It's ludicrous. Not to mention the ranged units. Look how much damage they're doing. They've got crossbows. They're 33 damage on the back of those elephants. And I think there's 2 of them, which means he's got double attacks. Yeah, he's got 2 of them. Each one of those is 2 ranged crossbows with like 1,000 health. That's insane. Well, I think I know what civilization I'm going to be playing, ladies and gentlemen. I love this style from Corvinus. This is something magical. 2 town centers, a safe sacred site. Just play it safe. That's all you need. I mean, with a safe sacred site, it makes all the difference. You don't have to go for that fast attack into the triple sacred sites. You don't have to go for the all-in. You can just lay it back, play it safe with the scholars, get those free upgrades, and go into the elephants in the late game. And that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Good game gets called, and we move on to another video. Fellas, make sure you check out Corvinus. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can watch him live. An incredible game from him right there, demonstrating the power of the brand new Delhi. I tell you what, I'm a fan. I hope you guys are too, and we'll catch you in the next one.